We are live. What's going on, everyone? Thank you all so much for tuning in at this time. Everybody that's here, I greatly appreciate it. Anybody watching this on the replay, thank you so much. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel. So finally, we got a head coach. Finally, we can start moving in a positive direction, right? We don't have to wait around anymore of like, what's going to happen? We're going to get a head coach, right? Obviously, there's still a lot that needs to happen. Got to get the coaching staff, right? Got to get into the draft. Got to get free agency. You're already seeing trades and stuff going down with Alex Caruso now going to the Oklahoma City Thunder, which I actually think, if I remove my Laker bias for a moment, I actually think that trade really worked out for both sides. The Thunder's perimeter defense is going to be tough, man, with now they got Alex Caruso and you're going to have Lou Dort out there on the perimeter. Oh, man, it's going to be tough. But regardless, it's unfortunate. I really wanted Alex Caruso. Not going to lie, this one kind of hurt a little bit because, again, I really wanted Alex Caruso. I was hoping, maybe he could work something out. There was talks about the Lakers potentially being interested in acquiring Zach LaVine if they could get Alex Caruso. So we'll see what happens in that regard. But nonetheless, it's going to be crazy. It's going to be chaotic. And we'll see how it plays out. But I just wanted to kind of come on. I haven't live streaming a little bit. I'm working out a schedule. I want to start live streaming 3 days a week, probably Monday, Wednesday, Friday is what I'm thinking. I don't know if I'll be able to start this Monday or next Monday. I got a lot of just life stuff going on right now that I got to deal with and stuff like that. But yeah, I want to kind of so it'll probably be, I don't know, 8, 9 p.m., everything. So that way all the news kind of came out and we kind of talk about it. But every Monday, Wednesday, Friday is what I think I'm going to get on a actual live stream regime. And then obviously once the NBA season starts, then we'll do some watch along streams. We'll do the post game streams like we always do. So, but yes, I'm really going to start ramping up the live streams because I know a lot of people, I get asked pretty regularly about, hey, when are you going to live stream again? But anyway, I appreciate y'all here. Let's dive right into it because I really wanted to kind of talk to everybody and just see where everyone's thoughts and opinions are and go over some stuff. So vegetables, Tyler, I have work at 7. Why? Sorry, my guy. Sorry, I just, I had to come on and talk. It's been a while. Like I said, it's been, when was the last time I streamed? 2 weeks ago? Something? Might have been a little longer now. Been a little bit. But yeah, we got some news. Breaking news. You knew I had a live stream today. But I appreciate you. Whatever. LeBron leaving would be nice. I disagree. LeBron leaving would cause a disaster for the Lakers because the Lakers don't have a way to replace him. The Lakers can't tank, right? If LeBron left, and the Lakers had their pick next year, it's okay, maybe you look to trade Anthony Davis. Maybe you look to, maybe explore a rebuild, kind of go in the rebuild stage. But if LeBron leaves, the Lakers are in trouble because you'd have basically Anthony Davis and a bunch of role players with a first-year head coach. And I don't know. I don't even think we're a play-in team, let alone a team making any noise. And then, again, our pick goes to Oklahoma City, or not Oklahoma City, the Pelicans. The Pelicans are probably praying that that LeBron leaves the Lakers. It's probably why they pushed it to next year. What's going on? Appreciate you being here. What is up? Any chance of getting Lopez? Is there a chance? Sure. Do I think the Lakers will do it? No. Primarily because of his contract. So I actually have a video that I'm editing over on AIS The Lakers Show that I'm probably going to post about Lopez tomorrow. I got a couple other things. I want to talk about the Alex Caruso thing on that side, on that channel, because I got a couple videos already lined up for this channel. But I'm going to dive in more to the Brook Lopez thing. But the problem is his salary. He's making what? He's making 20, 22 million, something like that. Might even be a little more than that off the top of my head. But that's the problem. Now, he does have value because he's an expiring contract. So, if the Lakers wanted to unload some salary, then I guess maybe he makes sense, right? If the Lakers wanted to, I don't know, let's say they go get DeJounte Murray and, they get a couple pieces and it's oh, let's trade for Lopez and unload some contracts so that way we can bring in Lopez and, but I think in particular, I think the Bucks are looking for someone specific because the report said that they want to shop Lopez because Doc Rivers wants to go a different direction with the defense. So I'm assuming that they want to get rid of Lopez for a very specific type of just player or option is my guess. I wonder if it would be smarter to go for LaVine or DeMar. I mean, LaVine is the better fit. Like, like, I don't have any questions about LaVine's fit. He's the better shooter. He's more athletic. He's a bucket getter, right? He doesn't need the ball in his hands to be effective. He's shown that in basically every spot he's been at. So, like, LaVine is probably the better natural fit. I'm not really as concerned as some people are with DeMar and his fit. Like, a lot of people are like, oh, he doesn't shoot threes, but there's more to floor spacing than just shooting threes, right? So, and he shoots a lot of deep twos also. So it's not like he's strictly back to the basket type where it's like the paint's always clogged. And DeMar has been one of the most clutch players in the league the last like 6 years, 5 years or whatever. So I don't think you could lose either way. It's just LaVine, one guy is 43 million. So you'd have to actually trade for him. Another guy, depending on his market, could you potentially get him for the mid-level exception? I doubt it, but stranger things have happened. I think realistically, you probably have to work out a sign and trade. I do think the Alex Caruso trade may signal a potential rebuild. Maybe Chicago's finally looking to rebuild, and maybe we could get some guys just by default. That's always a possibility, but we'll see. Time will tell. Let's see. Thoughts on the Bucks hiring Darvin Ham? I mean, as an assist, he had success there, right? Like, I just don't think he was ready to be a head coach, right? So, the based on the reports, the reason Darvin Ham took the lead assistant job with Doc Rivers is he's supposed to eventually succeed Doc Rivers. Like, so Doc Rivers, whenever he's ready to leave the Bucks, Darvin Ham is expected to kind of take on that role. And Milwaukee could very well be in a different position at that time, ready to rebuild, right? Because Doc Rivers is probably going to be there a couple years. And at that point, Dame's probably gone. Giannis, even if he stays, he's probably towards the end of his career. So I think it's good for Darvin Ham. I still want him to succeed. Like, I don't want to, I'm glad he's not on the Lakers, right? I'm glad, like, that was a disaster. He wasn't a good head coach, in my opinion, but that doesn't mean I don't want him to have success elsewhere, right? He still needs to eat, still needs to feed his family. I do think he has some good qualities. And Milwaukee might just be a better situation for him, right? Especially if he does get the head coaching job. So I don't know. I mean, it's good for them, I guess. Obviously they like him. So, Tyler, why is every Laker fan saying move on from Bron? What did he do? He's been our most consistent player by far every season and for every marquee matchup apart from the Kings game. Because people just, one, you got a market that is just LeBron haters or don't accept LeBron as a Laker fan. I think you have some that probably want to just rebuild and start over, right? I think you have some that are just like, it's a circus, right? LeBron brings circus, and I think that's also part of it. I think some people just don't want to be a circus. I think there's people that have their motivation for everything, but I'm old enough to remember the dark years before LeBron, and I would rather have a circus and be a playoff team. Yeah, I know we've been a playing team, but at least we're in the playoffs, right? And we just went to the conference finals. Like, I think what's the alternative? The alternative is we go and rebuild. We can't. We don't have our picks anymore, right? Like, I would rather have LeBron and like at least make the playoffs than be a team that every year we're just the top 3 team in the league. Sorry, bottom 3 team in the league. I don't know. I think people have their different options, but he's our most consistent person at his numbers versus Denver in both series. Combined, want to complain about his defense when it compensates for players not showing up every night. Yeah. I mean, look, LeBron's not above criticism. Like, there's definitely things that LeBron, it can be frustrating in at times, but he's still a top 10 to 12 player in the league, right? Like, pretty much every team in the league would be more than happy to take on LeBron, right? If they could. Right. So I don't know. Again, it's like, what's the alternative? Pal, yo, Tyler, let's go. I love these types of live streams. Well, I love doing these types of live streams. I was going to ask you when you actually might stream, but now I don't. who would you say is the most likely player to come besides Trae? Well, first off, I appreciate you. Secondly, like I said, I'll probably make an announcement. I have a couple things like that I'm working on. Obviously, I have like AIS the Lakers show. I have As It Stands Lakers, and then or not As It Stands Lakers. I have As It Stands Sports, AIS the Lakers show. I'm talking about bringing on an editor because I really want to expand some stuff. I want to get back into that kind of podcast channel. I know some of you are subscribed to. I want to kind of grow that out because just I know people like deeper, longer dives, and there's some stuff that like at times I want to like dive into more. And I'm like, but I don't want to make like a 45-minute video. I want to just like, keep it around like 10 minutes or so. So I got a lot like going on behind the scenes, and then I got a lot like just like personal life stuff going on right now that I got to kind of sort through and go through. But I'm planning on every Monday, Wednesday, Friday doing a live stream, and I'll either start this Monday, not sure, don't take that as gospel yet, or the following week. So in the next like week or two, I'll start consistently live streaming. I just got to sort through some stuff, and then my plan is to every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And then once we get into the season, then I'll do what I usually do, where after every game, we'll do the post-game stream, and then we'll do the some watch-along streams when I can do it, depending on the times of the games. Because like I said, it's harder for me for the earlier games. But as far as like players that are most likely to come besides Trae, the problem is like who ultimately becomes available is the problem, right? Like you're already seeing like Malik Monk just re-sign. You're going to see a lot of guys starting to re-sign. I could see a couple guys maybe potentially taking a flyer on the Lakers. Like can the like I threw out the name like Patrick Williams. Could Patrick Williams be a guy that like if Chicago's kind of willing to let him go, which there are some talks he is, and he's kind of had his good and his bads. Does he go like, hey, let me pull a Malik Monk, go sign with the Lakers for a minimum and kind of raise my stock? It's always a possibility. But honestly, I think Trae is the most likely. Outside of that, I think DeJounte is a real possibility. And then beyond that, it's just like role guys, right? Like I think Valanciunas or like Andre Drummond. I think those are two guys that very well I could see suiting up for the Lakers. Not both together, but I'm saying like, one or the other. But like other guys that come to mind, like maybe Kelly Oubre. If the Sixers don't keep him, I wouldn't mind Kelly Oubre. I have like a whole list of guys that I want to like make videos on. Kelly Oubre I know is on that list but I'm sure he's not super stoked about playing for a vet minimum again. But again, maybe go to Lakers and raise the stock a little bit. I think that'll probably be what it is. I think it'll be like veteran guys or really young guys that want to try to raise their stock, or it'll be like trades that the Lakers pull off. Braun had one bad defensive game in game 3 and held the ball too much game 2 early in the 3rd. Other than that, he's been excellent versus Denver when Braun was putting the team on his back, dropping 40 versus the Nets, dominating every single marquee matchup, Phoenix Clippers games this season. What were all these trade runs? Yeah, I mean, again, it's just, like I said, you have just different camps, in my opinion. I think people have their own motivation for why they want that. Stop saying trade and get rid of LeBron. If he leaves, we still got no money. Just proves you don't know basketball. I was saying about rid of LeBron. Braun is our second best player. Also, how would you feel about Edie getting drafted by us, or who should we draft? Assuming we keep that pick this year. Yeah, well, first part of your question, yeah, I agree. Like, I think all the people that are saying, trade LeBron or get rid of LeBron, again, I think it's ignorance about the situation, right? Like, I think people are thinking like, oh, LeBron leaves, we get $50 million. Like, it doesn't work like that, right? Like, at most, if LeBron left and D'Angelo Russell left, the Lakers have like, I think it's like 26 million in cap space, right? Like guys like Malik Monk are going for close to that. Didn't he get like a 4-year, $78 million deal? Something like that. So he's going for like 17.5 million a year or something like that. Whatever that math's out to. Right? Like, so what I'm saying is like, you're not going to get a player anywhere close to the caliber of LeBron James And that's adding in D'Angelo Russell. I know a lot of people aren't super stoked about D'Angelo Russell, but he's still coming off of one of the best seasons of his career, and he still shot 42% from three and 50% from the field, right? Like, how do you replace those two guys, right? Like, you could probably replace D'Lo, but you're not replacing LeBron. Only thing I blame LeBron for was the Westbrook trade. Man has compensated for so much incompetence and get zero credit. Everyone needs to look past stats versus Denver in these past two series. What more can you ask from him? My rant is done. No, I get it. Like, again, the roster has to show up. I mean, I said it when the Lakers lost. It's like, where was Reeves before Game 4? At that point, it was too late. Where was Rui the entire series? Where was D'Lo in 2.5 of those 5 games? Like, it's just, again, it's guys got to show up, right? Like, I don't care if it's Jokic. Look, Jokic was the only guy that showed up in the Minnesota series and they lost, right? Like, again, the role players, if they don't show up, you lose. You saw it along the way, the entire process, right? Lakers role players didn't show up, they lose to Denver. Denver's role players didn't show up, they lose to Minnesota. Minnesota's role players don't show up, they lose to Dallas. Dallas's role players don't show up, they lose to Boston. Like, the role players don't show up, how do you win? Just imagine the better of a shape we could be in if we would have kept AC and KCP. We need defensive guards, and they were we just let them go. Yeah, that definitely is something that we'd like to take back, right? Thought we would at least interview Monty, but it's fair. Might just say home with his wife for a bit. Yeah, but excuse me. But also the Bulls are an absolute joke. Say no to first-round picks, but say yes to Josh Giddey. Yeah, it's usually how it goes. I mean, they're not really a model for excellently ran franchises. But I mean, the Monty thing, like why waste time interviewing somebody that you know isn't going to come, right? Like, again, Monty, he didn't even want to come regardless, and the Lakers have no way to get him, right? Like, Monty's not, like, the Lakers would literally have to pay him like 20 to 25 million a year, like, which would basically be almost double what the highest paid coach in the league is. Like, you're not giving, Monty's not that good of a head coach, right? Like, he might be better than JJ, he might not. I don't know. We'll see. But, like, Monty's not so good. It's like, man, you got to give this guy 20 to 25 million a year. Because you got to remember, you have, like, he gets a paycheck from the Detroit Pistons as long as he doesn't go get a new paycheck elsewhere. So, now, like, the way I compared it is, like, imagine if you were at your job right now, right? And imagine if your job fired you, but they had to pay you your salary for the next 5 years. But if you go get a new job, they no longer have to pay that salary. Why would you go take a new job or take a job for less money if you get a guarantee back? Let's say you're making $50,000 a year and they have to pay you $50,000 a year every year for the next 5 years. Why would you go to a new job? Like, why would you even go to a new job for like $60,000 a year or $65,000 a year when you have a guaranteed $50,000 right now that you come in? Right? Why not do some little side things that are under the table and low key? Right? Like, you're not gonna go and jump into another job when you have guaranteed money coming in. But if a team came and was like, hey, well, I'll give you $100,000 a year for, if you basically just jump in, then it's like, okay, well, yeah, at that point, it's like, okay, that's kind of the situation that they're in. They're still going to be really small. I don't know. I mean, it depends. I'm talking about the Thunder, I'm assuming. I was thinking about the Lakers. I was like, it depends on what they do. But yeah, that's the big problem with the Thunder is, like, Caruso is a great pickup for them. Right? Like I said, Dort and Caruso defending out on the perimeter. Like, I don't want to be a guard handling the basketball playing the Thunder. But they still are tiny. And that's still not going to get resolved. But, I mean, again, it's still, like, the offseason hasn't even started. I am move my leg's sticking. There we go. The offseason hasn't even started, and they already pulled that off. I'm sure that they're going to make other moves. I'm sure they're going to do other things. But we'll see. As soon as we hire Rondo, I'll be more at ease. Yeah, I mean, word is that he's kind of expected to be on the staff, that JJ Redick actually kind of likes the idea. So we will see. We will see. Tyler, 0 picks for an entire Caruso is nuts to me. How do you make that trade knowing the treasure chest of picks OKC has? I feel like I'm the only one saying this. I feel like I'm losing my mind with the Giddey trade. Well, I mean, you also got to put it in perspective, right? You got to look at the age of Alex Caruso compared to the age of Josh Giddey. Before all the stuff that went on with Josh Giddey, the guy was, borderline all-star level guard. He's 6'8", can't teach 6'8", or 6'7", whatever, 6'7", 6'8", can't teach that. The guy is nearly walking triple-double. The guy's like, what, 17, 8, 9 or something like that? Right? Like, it's just, I mean, Josh Giddey on the open market probably gets you a pick or two regardless, right, by itself. So, I mean, I do think it's a pretty fair trade. And you're talking about a guy that's, already, he's closer to being over the hill than by far than Josh Giddey is. I mean, Josh Giddey is basically young enough to have been drafted in this year's draft. So I think Chicago was looking at it as like, hey, we get our potential point guard of the future. Now we can focus and use this year's draft pick to draft what, another position of need. We don't have to worry about the guard position. If Lonzo comes back and is good, we'll figure it out type thing. I think it was personally, I think it was a fair trade for all parties. Mr. 81, what's going on? Appreciate you. I'm so frustrated with this trade. Besides Lakers missing out, he was traded for Giddey, one of the most hated players in the NBA. I mean, yeah, he's hated for reasons that I can't really dive into on YouTube. But yeah, I mean, that's the thing is that like if you just look at the basketball player, right? Like, you got to be able to separate the two. I mean, Chicago. I mean, you can make an argument Chicago won the deal because yes. Alex Caruso is more win now coming off of an all-defensive team this year. But for a team like Chicago that's probably looking like they're going to rebuild, like Josh Giddey makes all the sense in the world. And who are you going to get for Alex Caruso that is a potential all-star guard, especially in the East? He probably may even make it. Malik Monk just got, what was it, $78 million for 4 years, something like that. So to me, the best possible offseason is trading for Donovan, unlikely signing a big like Andre to solidify the center, re-signing LeBron and D'Lo. Yeah, I think Donovan's very unlikely also, but you never know, right? Again, like there were talks for like months that he wanted to go to a big market, and it was the Lakers or the Knicks. The Knicks have bowed out. The Knicks say that they don't want to, that they're not interested in Donovan Mitchell anymore. Well, based on reports, we don't know that for certain, but based on reports, they're not interested in Donovan Mitchell anymore. If that's the case, then the Lakers could get him. I know that there are reports that, the Cavs expect him to re-sign and they're not trading the core for and all that stuff. But we've heard that a million times from teams. What do teams always say? Oh, we're not doing that. We're never trading DeMar DeRozan. And then 2 days later, he's traded, right? Like a lot changes, things change, and things change quickly. So Trae and Clay would be a nice offseason. That would be fantastic, but I think that's incredibly unlikely because if we trade for Trae, we're probably not going to have our full mid-level exception. So we'd only have at best our taxpayer exception. And then, Clay, I don't think is going to take that, but hey, like I said, you never know. Heard Lonzo Ball gets bought out by Chicago. Lakers take a swing. If Lonzo was to get bought out, I wouldn't hate it. If Lonzo's willing to like take a bench role, right? Like come off the bench. I mean, obviously it depends on what the team looks like, but like I don't hate the idea of like, hey, Lonzo, like we'll bring you back. We're gonna give you a vet minimum, basically like a prove it deal, right? Like you need to prove that you're healthy, right? And where are you gonna go that's gonna raise your stock more than the Lakers? And it'd be a nice story, nice little reunion and all that stuff. Like if that is the case and Lonzo does get bought out, which is very possible now that you have Josh Giddey, I think that Chicago will look to try to trade him because if I'm not mistaken, he's on his last year of his contract. So I think they'll look to try to trade him first. But if they buy him out, I wouldn't hate it. Like I wouldn't hate bringing him on. Again, like he'd like to me, if I was talking to him, I'd be like, hey, we'd be happy to bring you on, right? But you're a huge risk because you haven't played in the last like 2.5 seasons. And, and we're probably not going to start you. So if you're willing to come off the bench, you're willing to take a vet minimum, right? Raise your stock on a prove it deal, then we'd love to have you, because he was killing it before injury. I think people sleeping on how good Lonzo Ball was pre that original injury. He was shooting like 45% from three or something insane like that. He was averaging like 9 assists. He was looking really good. He changed his shot, right? And the shot actually looked pretty decent. So, again, I don't hate the idea if it's a prove it deal. It's like, who are you going to get that's better on a vet minimum in a backup point guard role, right? Like, like what, you need Chris Paul? Again, it's like, it's risk reward and actual cost of said player, right? I like JJ a lot, but I can't get Steve Nash's coaching career out of my head. He has more accolades and had a strong team and just fell short. Just what advantages does JJ have over other rookie head coaches? Look, so one, history tells you that like most point guards that have had success don't train. I'm old enough to remember Magic Johnson as a head coach, right? Like that didn't go too well, right? So, you'd be surprised the guys that work out. Usually it is a role player or somebody that's not. Like the coaches, like think of all the coaches that have had a lot of success. They're usually not stars. Like Carmelo Anthony even talked about this in an interview the other day where they asked him, like, would you ever be a head coach? And he's like, no, like, top tier NBA players don't translate well as head coaches, and they don't, right? Now, I'm not saying that it can't happen. Like Jason Kidd, look at Jason Kidd, right? And he was a big time guy, but more times than not, there really are that. You also got to take into account Steve Nash and the situation he's in. We have no idea if Steve Nash was a good coach or not, right? Like there was definitely some like questions and like, hey, wait a minute, like why is he doing that? But as soon as he was hired, Kyrie Irving went into an interview and said that they don't need a head coach. They didn't listen to him. Like the only reason he was hired was because relationship with the owner, right? But like they didn't listen to him. He like anytime he tried to run plays, they completely ignored it and did their own thing. Like it's hard to really coach. Like Steve Nash just gave up after a few months. Like I mean, he talked about he was thankful that he left. Like there were reports that literally came out when he was fired that they were like Steve Nash is thankful that they finally let him go. Right? He wanted to get out of there immediately. So I think that that's a big thing. Where I think JJ Redick, one, we've seen the basketball IQ, we've seen the ability to break down plays and schemes, but also simplify it. Like that's a real thing that I think really goes unnoticed, right? Most people can write draw up a play design. Like I could draw up a play design, but can I simplify it enough to where everybody understands it? And some people might think, well, you're coaching NBA players. Everyone should understand. It's not the case. I mean, LeBron has even talked about it. Right, LeBron on Mind the Game had a thing where he's like, it drives me crazy how many people will draw a play on the right side and then will try to flip it to the left side and nobody knows how to run the play because they don't know how to differentiate between the left and the right side, right? Like you'd be amazed how many like NBA players are just not as, I guess, educated or IQ'd, where being able to simplify goes a very long way because you can break it down to basically a childlike level to where everybody can comprehend and know what they're supposed to do. I think that has a lot of value. He has the IQ, he has the relationships. And I think LeBron and AD will both buy in immediately and then all the ducks will follow, right? Like where if, like in the Steve Nash situation, again, your two stars basically were like, we don't need them. Like why do we have a coach? Like we can coach ourselves. Like he's just there to call timeouts. Like we're running the plays, right? Like when that happens, you're already dead in the water. Like you haven't even started and you're already dead in the water, right? That's not going to happen with JJ Redick. So, but great question, Dan. If the Lakers wind up keeping their 17th pick, if you had to predict who the Lakers draft, who do you think it would be? I think it'll be either Zach Edey if he's there or Ware. I think one of those two seem to be the guys that are linked to the most. Obviously there's always an outlier where somebody maybe like falls or drops or whatever, but I think more likely than not, it's going to be one of those two guys. If I had to guess, I wouldn't mind Lonzo back either. Again, as long as he understands the deal, as long as he understands like, hey, here's the situation. If you're willing to buy in, let's do it. If not, then go elsewhere. Tyler, watch Attack on Titan. I do not. I've seen like a couple episodes randomly. Like I had like an ex-girlfriend a long time ago that was in that like actually liked that show, and I was starting to watch it with her a couple times, but like actually like sitting and watching, no. I haven't any anime period I haven't watched in a very long time. Let's see. Let's see. I have a horde feeling the Lakers are going to stay put and run it back with the same team. I mean, that's always a possibility. It's definitely always a possibility. Okay, I'm not completely against the idea, but you need to have some clear upgrades. Right? Like if it's just the exact same roster, like player for player running it back, I think we're in trouble. But if like say you basically bring back the core, like let's say it's like D'Lo, Reeves, Rui, LeBron, Anthony Davis, and then Jared Vanderbilt, of course. You keep Max, or you keep Dave Vincent, maybe keep Max Christie, obviously. Like if those are your 8 guys, and then like you're bringing in a Valanciunas, like maybe keep a Torrey Prince, but like bringing in say a Valanciunas, bringing in like a Royce O'Neal, right? Maybe take a flyer on like a Kevin Porter Jr. to get some athleticism. I'm not like completely against it if you get the right, like I don't know, 3 to 4 pieces to add to the core to kind of upgrade in positions of need. But like if it's just like player for player, like essentially 1 through 15 or whatever, 1 through 14, running it back, then I think it's going to be the same. I think we'll be better because I think JJ Redick will be a better coach than Darvin Ham will be, but I don't think we'd be an actual championship team. Like I don't think even this season, a lot of people believe that like, hey, if we played anybody else but Denver, like if we went the path that Dallas went and played like the Clippers, the Thunder, like the Clippers, who was it, Clippers, Thunder, whatever, Minnesota, right? That we would be in the NBA Finals playing Boston, and I'm not like completely against that. Like I think that that's a real possibility as well. But like, there's also a possibility that we just get ran through, right? Like, so I just like I don't look at this Lakers team currently again saying same exact roster and go like they are by far, they're a top 3 to 5 roster in the league. Again, I think that they would be much better. I think like Rui Hachimura would be utilized better. I think Christian Wood be utilized better. I think Spencer Dinwiddie would be utilized better. I think Anthony Davis would get the ball more. Like one of the things that JJ Redick, based on reports, highlighted was that he wants to kind of elevate Anthony Davis and he wants to play LeBron more off ball. Will LeBron actually accept that? I don't know. We'll see. LeBron's talked about that for like 6 years, about how he wants to play more off ball. He wants to be more off ball. It's one thing to talk about. It's another thing to actually do it. We'll see if maybe JJ Redick's the guy that can get him to do that. It's always a possibility. You never know. But like, again, I think like you'd have to get some like clear upgrades, in my opinion. But like, also, I wouldn't mind running it back and like waiting till the trade deadline. Kind of run it back, see what it looks like, and then kind of see what's available at the trade deadline. If there's nothing that's really there, if there's something there, I think you do it, right? If there's a clear like, hey, we can get this guy, you do it. But like, say there's not like a clear cut trade or anything like that, or it's just like kind of like a fleece deal. Then like I don't mind having to run it back, kind of see what JJ Redick can do with this roster, and then kind of make the adjustments accordingly. Based on what the team needs at that time, kind of thing. But yeah, not completely against it. Like I said, behind a trio of LeBron, AD, and D Mitch, I think D'Lo would be a perfect. His ability to play off ball, yes, and his ability to be just another playmaker, I think could go a long way. Oh yeah, I thought he meant like keeping him, but yes, I agree. We should sign him and trade ASAP. By the way, the Bucks have both Darvin Ham and Doc Rivers on their coaching staff, which is good for them. Good for them. Would take a swing on ball if he gets lost. Yeah, I would too, definitely. Let's see. I don't have the confidence in the front office to pull off the right trade to get a 3-and-D guy. I mean, I do. Again, like, Rob Pelinka's pulled off some pretty good trades. Like, the things that people hold Pelinka to are like the Russell Westbrook trade, which, again, wasn't his trade. He had a deal done, signed, sealed, ready to be delivered for Buddy Hield. DeMar DeRozan himself, in an interview with, I think it was Taylor Rooks, said himself from his mouth, this isn't like a report, this isn't speculation, this is literally from his mouth, said that I thought the deal was done for me to go to the Lakers, right? It was, I think people forget that whole experience, right? Rob Pelinka had other deals in place. LeBron James, Anthony Davis, and Russell Westbrook were hanging out courtside. I think it was at Summer League, right? And all the speculation, like, is Russell Westbrook and LeBron and AD going to team up? No, there's no way that they could team up, right? Because they'd have to trade for Russell Westbrook, right? Then you got the report that LeBron James, Anthony Davis, and Russell Westbrook met at Anthony Davis's house, that they met at AD's house and talked about they would do whatever it took to win a championship together, and they would all make whatever changes and adjustments they'd have to make to their games to make it work. And then LeBron James and Anthony Davis went to Jeannie Buss and said, make it happen, right? But before that, Rob Pelinka built a championship team after being spurned by Kawhi Leonard, right? We were waiting for Kawhi Leonard. Rob Pelinka goes and pulls a rabbit out of his hat and ends up putting together a championship team. The next year, he literally upgraded that team, right? Got other big pieces that made more sense, right? Went and got Dennis Schroeder. Got the two six men of the year, and Dennis Schroeder and Montrezl Harrell. Got those two guys for basically free, right? Like, for basically a first, right? I think it was one first, right? Like, upgraded the roster. We were up 2-1 against the Phoenix Suns. Looked like we were going to run through everybody. Looked like we were about to repeat, with LeBron James having the first major, he had a big major injury that year. He's playing on one leg. Andre Drummond had a foot injury. Dennis Schroeder was not the same after getting COVID, right? And we still probably would have went back-to-back and repeated. And then the Russell Westbrook thing happened. And everyone goes, Rob Pelinka's trash. Again, and then, on top of that, the Russell Westbrook thing turns out to be a total disaster. Rob Pelinka gets a deal done again. Deal done. Signed, sealed, ready to be delivered for Buddy Hield and Miles Turner for Russell Westbrook and 2 firsts. And Jeannie Buss vetoes that trade. So then we go into the rest of the season. It's a disaster. We start, 2-10 or whatever? Right? We're awful, terrible. And everybody and their mother said the Lakers would not be able to trade Russell Westbrook. The Lakers would not be able to get anything. The Lakers are screwed, this, that, and the other. And then Rob Pelinka makes a trade to get pieces that lead us to a NBA Western Conference Finals. Like, where is, how this guy is constantly proven that he can kind of make miracles. Now, again, it also depends on what's available and what's out there, right? Rob Pelinka has shown the patience. He said at the trade deadline, there was nothing there. Everybody wanted to fleece us. They were charging us more than anyone else, right? And we weren't going to just mortgage and give up anything for not a real upgrade, right? Like, it has to make sense, right? Like, Sam Presti's praised constantly because he always wins his trades, right? Well, like, Rob Pelinka, for the most part, has done a pretty good job of turning water into wine, right? So I trust Rob Pelinka. If something's there, he'll do it. If something is there, he'll do it. Get Cam Johnson. I wouldn't mind Cam Johnson. If D'Lo were to walk, I'm still confident in a Gabe Austin Reeves backcourt, especially defensively. Yeah, I mean, Gabe, the ideal was, like, he's a legit 3-and-D guy. We have all of our picks except next year's first. Tyler, how good is Cam Johnson defensively? He's pretty good. He's not like elite, but he's a legit 3-and-D guy, right? Like Dorian Finney-Smith, like he's like a younger Dorian Finney-Smith, right? Probably he's better. I think he's better than Dorian Finney-Smith, but he's like a legit, like he could be like a legit 4th guy, I think, like on a contending team. Who's the best rim runner that can protect the paint in the draft? Like I said, I really like Ware. I think Ware, he's shown the ability to shoot three ball. I think he's shown the ability to run the floor. I think he's shown basically everything that you want. He can block shots. He's athletic. He's probably my favorite modern guy. Was it Aaron Holmes? I think is another guy that I think could potentially be that guy for the Lakers if he's available. But he's probably getting drafted pretty quicker. Lakers Nation proposed Reeves, Murray, Johnson, Braun, AD. How good do you think that is? If the Lakers could pull that off, that'd be a home run. I have no idea how. What are they trading to get that? DeJounte Murray, the problem is the Nets value all their guys like they're prime Michael Jordan. They're turning down 4 firsts and insane fleece deals for Mikal Bridges. So I don't know how you do that. How do you keep Reeves? Go get because they want the Hawks want DeJounte or Reeves, right? So you could definitely get Murray or you could definitely get Johnson. I just don't how do you get both? Rui for Johnson makes a lot of sense because the Nets only have basically threes. They don't really have a 4. They don't have a big bulky power forward. So, maybe they'd be open to that, right? But I would imagine that they just the way that they value Cameron Johnson, that they're probably going to want assets attached to that. But if they would do that swap, I would do that all day. And then you could go trade DeJounte Murray if D'Lo opts in. I mean, you could do it. I'm not saying that it's a proposed trade that's impossible. No, it's definitely something that can be done. But you're probably going to have to give up maybe 2 firsts for DeJounte Murray. Do you give up, your 17th pick or a pick swap or something like that for Johnson? Would they take that? I don't know. I don't know. It's tough. Look, if the Lakers could pull something like that off, I think that'd be great because you got DeJounte Murray, legit point of attack, point guard for now in the future. Austin Reeves, I think, would be great. Austin Reeves is pumped. JJ Redick, or his agent is pumped. JJ Redick, or that JJ Redick's the head coach and that he's supposed to unlock Austin Reeves. I'll touch on that in a future video. Cam Johnson gives you a legit 3-and-D. Could play the 3, could play the 4, in spots type guy. And then, and then you add in, I actually think that'd be really good, personally. If they could pull that off, that'd be great, in my opinion. Matt, coming in, $2 super chat. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Yo, man, I'm a big fan. What would you, big fan? Would you do a stream? Would you would I do a stream on your channel or something? I'm always open to collab. If you want to send me an email, send me an email. I was talking about it earlier. I haven't even really been streaming on this channel because I just been swamped with this life behind the scenes. So if I was to do any type of collab or anything like that, it's probably going to be a while. If I'm being honest, I trying to get a set schedule here to live stream on this channel, but it's probably going to be at least a week or 2 before I can do that. Even just because, again, I got personal life. I went into a whole spiel about it earlier, so I won't go into it again. But if you're asking for a collab, like I said, shoot me an email, and if I can try to work something out, I'll try to work something out. But I appreciate you. Like I said, just to be honest, it would probably be a month or so before I'd be able to do it. But I'm always open. I'm always open to it. But I appreciate you again. Appreciate you, man. Let's see. He came in hot with another $2 super chat. I did send an email. Okay, perfect. So then, I will. I'll respond to you in the email and stuff like that. And like I said, we'll try to coordinate something. Because it's like I said, it's probably going to be a while. Just want to be honest and upfront. But I appreciate you. Ermin coming out to $2 super chat. I think it's $2 super chat, but appreciate you. Who would be the best coach help Redick on defense? On defense, probably Frank Vogel, but I don't think Frank Vogel would be willing to come back. Scott Brooks, I think could probably Scott Brooks. I'm just trying to think like who realistically, like, because none of these guys are really known as like defensive guys, right? But Scott Brooks has had some pretty decent defensive schemes in the past. So, he might be able to put something like that together. Sam Cassell maybe, but he was more offense. Like James Borrego, I think would do a good job, but he's going to end up taking a head coaching job somewhere. I'd probably say Terry Stotts or Scott Brooks. Like they're not really like I said, there's not really like that defensive guy other than like Frank Vogel, but I don't think Frank Vogel's going to come back to the Lakers after how everything unfolded and be an assistant on top of it. But that's probably my guess. I'd probably say like Scott Brooks, probably the guy that I would I'd want to see. Yeah, Scott Brooks is probably who I'd go with as like far as like who could be a lead assistant and help on the defensive side of things. But great question. Appreciate you. And thank you for the super chat. How about we trade for Kuzma and DeJounte Murray? Kuzma turned down the Dallas Mavericks job because he didn't want to be a third fiddle and he wants to stay and take shots. He wants to stay in Washington. DeJounte Murray would be great though. D'Lo, Rui, and Gabe for LaVine, and 11. Our bench becomes Young. D'Lo, Rui, I'm not against the LaVine trade. It's just like I really wanted Caruso. Like I still really like LaVine, but like the reason I liked the LaVine trade so much was because of Caruso. Because it's like now you got your point of attack, 3-and-D guy that you need. You got a legit like scoring option and a guy that can help you close and just go get buckets. I wouldn't hate that, especially if they give up number 11. But the problem is like I don't know if they would do that now. Because like is the trade for Josh Giddey them signaling, hey, we're gonna rebuild? Or is it them going like, oh no, we just wanted to get Josh Giddey. We're gonna give DeMar DeRozan $40 million and we're gonna do all this silly stuff. Like it just depends on the direction they're gonna go. But yeah, like I wouldn't hate it. Like if you could do something like that, if you could get LaVine and then get like the 11th pick attached, maybe take like Edie at 17 and then take like Edie at 17 and then can you get Holland at 11? Ooh, man, let me tell you, that would be nice. I would love that. If you get Holland and Edie, yeah, I wouldn't mind that. I wouldn't mind something like that. Now you basically got like who could potentially, I mean, in Holland, he could potentially be the best player in this draft in a few years, like when all is said and done. So again, I think it just depends. But yeah, we'll see. Matt Sports Day coming out with $10 super chat. Thank you so much. Thanks, man. I love covering the Lakers as well. And you are an inspiration to me. Well, thank you. Seriously. W Stream. Well, thank you. Seriously. I really do appreciate that, Matt. And yeah, like I said, I just want to be honest and upfront, right? Because I don't want to leave you hanging or like, oh yeah, he's coming on, or like I said, I'm always open to it. And like I've gone on other people's streams before, so like I've gone on several people's streams. But yeah, it's just life right now has been a little crazy for me behind the scenes. Plus making videos and all that stuff, and then like I said, I'm trying to bring on an editor, and trying to grow a few things. So. Like I said, it'll probably give me some time, but I'll definitely respond and we'll reach out and talk and via email. But again, I really do appreciate that, Matt. Seriously, very, very much appreciate it. Keep working hard, right? Consistency is everything. Trying to grow your channel, trying to build your channel. Stay on the grind. Stay on the grind. Christian, coming out the $5 super chat. Thank you so much. Welcome back, Goof Goober. Rock. We're all go. Thoughts, Trae, Max, Vando, Braun, 80 Wood, Prince, Plumlee, or Drummond. I think that's realistic with a lot of upside. Trae is legit. Look, I have my reservations on Trae. I mean, I've talked about it heavily in videos. But I think if you can get Trae, I think you do it, right? Because if it works, good luck. And yeah, I mean, I've even talked like Trae, Max, Vando, LeBron, and 80. I think that's fine. I think that works. I think between Trae, LeBron, and Anthony Davis, you arguably have more than enough offense to carry the starters. And then Max Christie shooting 40% on catch and shoot threes. the last 2 years. So that's assuming he doesn't improve in any way, right? He's not 40% from three, period. I'm talking about in catch and shoot threes. So if he even if he doesn't improve, you're talking about 40% catch and shoot as like your fourth guy. Jared Vanderbilt obviously is a concern on the offense side, but the Lakers did a really good job of like putting him in screen actions and having him be like the roll man and being the backdoor cutter. So I think you can give him. I think you could have some success with him offensively, and then just the defense between Max and him. You got the athleticism, you got the switchability. Like Max is a legit 3-and-D guy. So, yeah, I think that that's very realistic too. And I think that would be a very good roster. If we didn't have LeBron, Trae Young to me would be a no-brainer. Like I'd be like, we'd be stupid not to go get him. With LeBron, I worry. Like if LeBron is really willing to play off ball more, right? And JJ Redick, supposedly that was one of the selling points. He really wants to have LeBron play off ball more. If that's the case, then I think Trae Young will work great. And I think good luck, right? Problem is LeBron has said that for like 6 years and has yet to do that. So I don't know. It's tough, but we'll see how it goes. Time will tell. But again, Christian, appreciate you. You're awesome. All right, where was I in this? Lonzo Ball, low risk, high reward. Yes, I was talking about this earlier. Yeah, I don't mind the idea of bringing in Lonzo as long as he understands the situation. Like, hey, you're not getting more than a vet minimum, and you're probably coming off the bench. Like, bring him in as a prove it deal. I think that's a no-brainer personally. Ideal, realistic Lakers off seasons for me: trade Vando, JHS 17 for Dorian Finney-Smith, Day'Ron Sharpe. Trade number 2, DeJounte Murray, and for Reeves Rui, other 2 firsts, and another swap. Thoughts? So basically, looking at Vando, JHS and the pick, but it's not a player on the roster. So for Dorian Finney-Smith, and Day'Ron Sharpe. So you get a young guy, okay. And then DeJounte Murray for Reeves and Rui, plus the other 2 firsts and another swap. I don't like the picks going out if we're including Reeves, because Atlanta really wants Reeves. And the Lakers were supposedly only going to have to give up 2 firsts to go get DeJounte Murray. So, and that was without Reeves, but they really wanted Reeves. So I think you could probably get DeJounte for like Reeves and maybe like a first and a swap. I would like to keep one of our firsts. I don't hate it. So basically you'd be looking at like DeJounte Murray, Max Christie probably, Dorian Finney-Smith, LeBron James, Anthony Davis. That's not bad. Yeah, I wouldn't hate it. I wouldn't be like completely against it. Because you're basically replacing Vando with Dorian Finney-Smith, although I'd like to keep Vando, but Dorian Finney-Smith is one of the few 3-and-D guys I would trade him for. So, yeah. I mean, long term, obviously, like Dorian Finney-Smith's older, but he's not like that old to where it's like he's irrelevant. But, yeah. LeBron, DJ, Kuzma, AD, Wendell Carter. Let's see. I want to keep Vanderbilt and Max. I do too, preferably. Problem is if it comes down to Vanderbilt or Reeves, they're going to trade Jared Vanderbilt. So, let's see. Caruso is dead. If the role players step up, we win that series. Same with the Western Conference Finals. If they show up, we probably win that series as well. And I would say 18 before Boston. Yeah, I mean, again, it's just we definitely would have beaten Miami, but that's the thing. Like, and that's the problem with role players, right? They're inconsistent. If they were more consistent, they wouldn't be role players, right? They'd probably be a star or an all-star or something like that. But that's the problem. Is like when you're relying on going and getting a when you're relying on a bunch of role players rather than like another star or something like that, or a borderline, whatever. I mean, like look at Boston. It's like every night it was a different guy. If like Tatum had a bad night, they still won because they had Drew who could go off, White that could go off, Porzingis that could go off, right? Like it's just, to me, it's like give me the front load, give me the front end talent, right? I'd rather have the front end of it. Philly is the best place for LeBron. I mean, if we're being honest, it was the best place for LeBron before he ever came to the Lakers years ago. LeBron didn't come to the Lakers just for basketball, right? Because if he came for just for basketball, there was several other teams that he could have signed with that he probably would have won more championships with. Monty needs to take a break for a few years. He was dealing with some stuff in his head, plus all the stress would have been LA. Yeah, definitely. LeBron James wants to run for president one day. He ain't leaving the Lakers. Let's see. Rondo AC. Tyler, what are your thoughts on the WNBA? Angel Reese has the post game of my 12-year-old brother. He's a point guard and essentially begs for Clark's attention at every opportunity. Reese is a clown. Like, look, I like the little. I don't like how like political it's getting, right? And I don't really want to get into like the political aspects of it because it's just crazy. Like, I don't like the like the white versus black and all that stuff, but I do like the tension, right? Like that's good, right? Like it's drawing attention to the league. It's creating eyeballs. It's it's good to kind of see the chaos, so to speak, right? And you got like it's Reese versus Caitlyn. Right? Just like it was Magic versus Bird, right? Just like, it was, you look at through like history, or, Sammy Sosa versus Mark McGuire, right? Like, it's just like, those are the things that usually uplift leagues. Those are the things that usually have success, right? I do think that there is a bit of jealousy, right? I do think that there is this level of like undervaluing what Caitlin Clark is bringing, right? And I do think that like, the problem is that like if the Caitlin Clark stuff fizzles out, the WNBA is going to be in trouble, right? And it's just like, but the problem is like it's like you said, like with Angel, like it's the post game interviews, right? Like, and it's not just her; it's just like it's several players, but like she's the one that gets highlighted because it's like the rivalry, right? Like it's instead of being like whatever, like. Instead of using it an excuse and trying to put the blame on like Caitlyn, like, oh, she got like some people just get a different whistle. Like, no, you clearly gave a flagrant foul, which is fine. It's basketball. I talk all the time about like giving a good hard foul in the playoffs and stuff, right? Like it happens. I mean, look at like what happened to Lonzo Ball when he came in the league, and the type was like Patrick Beverley in game 1 was like hitting him in the nuts and stuff, like, right? Like, again, I think it's good for the sport. I think it's good for the WNBA to really draw attention and draw eyes. Problem is like the post-game interviews are just so like it's just they're silly. Like it's not like, again, be like, hey, like look, she went for a drive, no easy, but like I'd rather her just be like, yeah, like I gave her a good hard foul because we don't give easy buckets, right? Something like that. Like give me a basketball explanation. Give me like whatever, like fuel to the fire rather than like, oh, well, it's because, other people have other whistles. Like, no, you committed a flagrant, right? Like, not a flagrant. But like, I don't know. It's chaotic, right? And there's so much stuff to trudge through. Again, I don't really like the like politicalness of it. I think it's just silly, right? Like, again, this stuff happens in the NBA. Right? Like players get hit all the time. I mean, Draymond's kicking people in the nuts once a week. Right. And like we talk about it and highlight it and talk about how he's a clown when he does stuff like that. Like it's just become this like other thing. And that I don't like. That I'm like, it's just, can we just keep it what it is? It's a rivalry. It's basketball. It's tension. Like this is a great selling point, right? Like capitalize on it. Like all these women should be thankful. Right? Getting private jet stuff. I'm not saying that they have to like, go up to Caitlyn and give her daps every time there's a game or, like, oh, hey, here, get a free layup. No, I want to see competition. I want to see that cutthroat. I want to see Caitlyn take a hard foul. I want to see the struggles, right? But it's just like, it's become something else. And I don't like I don't like the something else, right? Like keep it basketball. Keep it what it is, right? It's basketball. We've seen plenty of players in the league come in and just get pummeled, right? I mean, Lonzo Ball, again, with his dad and all the noise stuff, players were going after him. LeBron, when he came into the league, players were going after his own players were talking about how he's trash and he's not going to change the league and blah, 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 blah. Right. So anyway, what do you think about Trae's hourglass emoji right as JJ was hired? Yeah, I kind of touched on that in the Trae video I made earlier, but I don't know what to think. I think it might be trolling, but maybe something to come. I can see Trae throw in some crazy lobs to AD, and Trae pulls up from half court and drains it, and the crowd goes wild, and Trae takes a bow. I really like Trae and fit between him and Bron. Backseat Trae as two. Yeah, so look, of course it could be something. It could just be trolling. I mean, LeBron posts hourglass tweets like once a week, and we're like, I mean, the timing is definitely something. It's been no secret that Trae if he is traded, wants to go to the Lakers. And I think, again, he's probably more likely than not going to go to the Lakers. Again, I could be wrong, but if I had to bet on who would the Lakers trade for this offseason, it's Trae. I like the idea of Trae. Again, I have my reservations. I have my concerns. I have my questions, but I think ultimately it'll work out and it'll be okay. So, let's see. Please do not get Trae at the end. Young end of discussion. Two non-defensive players, and Bron and Trae. Close out game stupid. Thing is it's not just about now. It's about the long game, right? It's about post LeBron James. It's about raising the ceiling now, but also putting yourself in a position to have success later on, and then even beyond Anthony Davis, right? Because when Anthony Davis' contract is done and he rides off into the sunset, Trae would still be on the right side of 30. So that's what it's about. And him and Anthony Davis might be the best pairing, right? It's not just about right now. Let's see. I'm wondering to see who JJ picks as a supporting cast. I am too. I'm very interested to see who is his. I mean, the Lakers are probably going to have a big hand in that, but I'm curious as well. Bulls can rebuild now and not lose ground in these. I mean, you're not wrong, right? It's not like they were great. It's not like they were, a top 6 seed in the East. No, they were terrible, right? So it's how you can't be much worse, right? And they'd still have a pretty decent roster if they unloaded guys. Let's see. By the way, Josh was proven innocent, unlike that. Yeah. Also, not to revisit old wounds, but with Kyrie wetting the bed in the finals, could a reunion be so far-fetched? I mean, you never know, right? The NBA in particular is a very strange thing, right? So, it wouldn't shock me if Kyrie's I want to get out of here, it doesn't work, or even if Dallas is kind of I think we need a different type of star, a younger star around Luka. Sure, but I think it's one of those. I don't think it's super far-fetched, but I think it's if I had to put a percentage on it, I think it's 5% maybe. Right? Let's see. Brook Lopez might be on the trade block. Yeah, I wouldn't mind him at all. But problem is his salary. I wouldn't mind bringing him in, but he's not making 15 million, right? He's making 22, something like that, off the top of my head. So that's the problem is you'd have to give up. I think he has value as an expiring, but I also think that the Bucks are looking for something specific. What's good, Tyler? What do you think about Lonzo coming back if bought out? Oh, I don't know if you were here when I touched on this earlier. But again, I don't mind it. I think it's a low risk, high reward type move. If you're bringing him in for the minimum, right? If he wants a bag, which he might given his injury history. But if he's looking at it as like, hey, this might give me an opportunity to kind of raise my stock, then I don't hate the idea at all. I hope the Lakers front offense, I'm assuming front office, doesn't try to tell JJ who to have in the starting lineup and support him if agents start to complain about the client's roles. Yeah, I hope that they let JJ run the show. The problem has just been micromanaging, and that's been a big problem. Do you think you'll live stream the draft, or maybe live stream until Lakers pick, or probably not, depending on your schedule? Probably not. It's like in the middle of the day, so it's hard. But I may end up live streaming after. Like, we might do like a post-draft stream, because the draft is going to be 2 days now. It's going to be the 26th, 27th. So I'm thinking about, because again, it's just hard for me because I got kids and I got to get them to bed, and it's like they know like, oh, daddy's streaming, but like there's kids, they're running wild, or they're hungry, or they're screaming, or they're whatever, and it's like it just makes things difficult. And plus they want to spend time with dad, so try to spend time with them and stuff, play with them. So I don't know if I'll be able to do it during the stream, but I definitely want to try to stream after. So TBD. All right. Let's see. Sorry, trying to find something. Me. That's true. Genie, I'm assuming you mean Genie. Genie Bus doesn't have a lot of money. Rip Jerry West, gonna get a chip for him next year, just like difficulty facts. I'm with it. Do you think that if we hire Rondo, that closes the door on CP3? I don't know the whole backstory between the two, but I wanted to see if you knew. I mean, look, players know what it is. Lots of guys have squashed their beefs. I mean, Draymond and CP3 had a history, and they squashed it. So, I mean, look, if he comes and Rondo's an assistant, I think both, the goal is to win, right? Like, you see it all the time. I mean, guys have been in literal physical altercations and came together. I mean, Kobe and, Matt Barnes, Kobe and Battle World P, like, there's all kinds of stuff about that, right? Like, so again, these guys, you're in the heat of the moment, you have tensions. These guys know, and if they can help win, I don't think it'll be a big deal. 1 hour ago, LeBron, 1 hour ago, expect LeBron to opt out of his deal. Look, I've said that from the beginning. LeBron is going to opt out of his deal. It just makes more sense. Again, because he can re-sign. There's talks about him wanting a no trade clause and all that stuff. I don't think LeBron's leaving. Again, I could be completely wrong, but I would be pretty shocked if LeBron leaves. And I don't really get shocked when it comes to like NBA stuff. Again, LeBron, I see him sticking around, especially now with the JJ hiring. I think it's even more likely he sticks around. But, it is always a possibility, is always an option. But LeBron's going to opt out regardless. Just like last time, opted out, sign a new deal. That's how it works. Excuse me. Bro, truth is, Lakers need to trade 3 picks for a star, or LeBron should walk. That team needs help. I think the Lakers are going to try to pull off a move. If something's there, they'll do it. Let's see. In terms of Kevin Porter Jr., do we think his stock is going to be low enough to where we can get him for a steal? I do, right? Because, I mean, his situation, again, don't really want to go into it on YouTube in a live stream because I don't want to get the stream flagged. But given his situation, yeah, teams are probably going to be really reluctant to get away from him and not bring him in. So I definitely, and I could see him because he's young, right? He's incredibly young still. Like a lot of these guys, like Malik Monk, or the reason Malik Monk went and did it, right, is because they need to raise their stock. And everyone knows the Lakers is the best place to do that because of the spotlight and attention you get. So even like, let's say a team offers him $5 million, right? I could see him going like, I'll just take the vet minimum, because instead of going and getting that $5 million deal, I can go and, if it works out with the Lakers, maybe get a deal with them, or go elsewhere and get, maybe 11 or 20 million a year or 15 million a year or whatever. Right? That's what Malik Monk did, right? Like Malik Monk had offers for like 8, I think it was like 7, 8 million, something like that. And or mid-level exceptions or whatever, and he turned them down to go to Lakers, right? Because they're young enough to where it's like, okay, if he was like 27, 28, I think he'd probably go try to get the bag. But him, he's looking at it as like, I'm young to where like, hey, I can go a year. I just win a year because of my boneheadedness, right? I can go another year making 2 million, 2.5 million and end up raising my stock. So, who is a good 3-and-D player you think we could trade for? I wanted Caruso, but unfortunately can't do that no more as it stands Lakers. So, there's a couple options. Like the Nets are probably the best place for that. You got guys like, could you trade for like a Jeremy Grant if you want a more high-end guy? I'm not really sold on Jeremy Grant, but he's definitely, I think, an option that could realistically be obtained. Outside of that, like Dorian Finney-Smith, I think is a guy, maybe a Cam Johnson, maybe you could work it out to get a Cam Johnson. We'll see who else is on the market, like who becomes available. We don't really know everybody that's going to be available, but like even like Patrick Williams, if he becomes available, there's a couple options. Let's see. I think Darren Holmes has better modern skill set, NBA ready than Edie and Ware. I think for modern sense, yeah, I think Darren Holmes is probably the best option. I just think he supposedly was already promised a draft spot, and I don't think he'll be there when we get to 17 personally. Let's see. I think Rondo will be joining the coach staff. That's kind of what it looks like. So, do y'all think we can get Buddy healed for $5 million, the $5 million MLE? It's possible. I think it depends on like the situation, right? Like, so if like, because like let's say we draft Zach Edey, well then we probably don't need like a Valanciunas or anything. You probably just run in Zach Edey, like because he's more ready for now to help now and contribute. So he's probably your backup off the bench. So then maybe at that point, maybe you look for more shooting. I just think it depends on the situation you're in, right? The Lakers trade the pick. It might not make sense for Buddy Hield. They might need that, mid-level, the taxpayer mid-level to go and get a center. So I just think it depends. Let's see. Did you just say Miles Turner and Buddy Hield are trash? Miles Turner. Never mind. I'm not going to waste my time with silliness. Where is the light and Pence trying to duplicate 80 is the way to go? Where is too light in the pen? Yeah, but again, modern NBA, right? Like, why was Derek Lively so impactful this season? Because he's a floor running big that is able to, you can run multiple sets, multiple actions with. Can't really, there's a lot of limitations you have with Zach Edey. I like Zach Edey a lot, right? But where is more for the modern, like the type of schemes that you want to run? Okay, do you think the Lakers should sign DeRozan ASAP for the low and trade everybody else but LeBron and AD for a guard? If they can. The problem is DeMar DeRozan willing to do that, right? Because, first off, they got to wait for D'Lo to make his decision, right? They can't sign him right now. Well, you got to wait till June 30th. But also D'Lo, he has until the 29th to make his decision. If he opts in, well, then there goes any chance of you signing DeRozan. Could you maybe work out some type of sign and trade? Sure. If he leaves, again, I think it depends on what the market is, right? Because DeRozan wants to get paid. And if Chicago's no longer going to pay DeMar, right, is a team like Orlando willing to give him, $20 million? Something like that. But if his market is like, say, teams are only willing to give him like $15 million, right? Well, then I think that it's very possible that he goes, well, hey, let me go I might as well just take $2 million less, go play with the Lakers, have a chance to win a chip, go to my hometown, play for my hometown team. So, are we trading the pick or what? I think they are. If something's there, I think that they will. Again, I could be wrong, but I think if they can, I think that they should. But if the right deal's there, then take it. Matt Chronicles, what is going on? Appreciate you. LeBron needs to take a pay cut. Even if LeBron takes a pay cut, doesn't matter. Doesn't impact the cap. It's not how the cap works. LeBron could play for literally $35 million instead of $50 million, and it doesn't change anything. It was a 3-team trade for D'Lo, all our first, and try to keep Vando and give up the rest. Mikal goes to the Hawks, and the first picks go to Brooklyn. It was a super chat. They didn't propose it. Let's see. I'm assuming that was somebody else. If D'Lo opts in, I don't mind spending a pick or two and go get Grant and Brogdon. Rui, D'Lo, Vincent, JHS, and 2 picks. Blazers flip D'Lo and Vincent. Problem is like, would Grant want to do that? So the Lakers tried to trade for Jeremy Grant back when he was on, I think it was Detroit. And Jeremy Grant said something along the lines of like, he doesn't want to be a third option. And Grant has been very vocal about how he wants to stay in Portland, that he likes it in Portland. Not everyone wants to win. Some guys just want the bag and be able to take 20 shots a game and be the guy. Grant gets to kind of be the guy there. I wouldn't hate it entirely if it happened, but I do have excuse me. I do have my questions with that. Well, considering James is a free agent, can't really do that. Never trade Vando, top 2 on-ball defenders. Yeah, I would prefer to keep Vando. But again, if we're talking about the Lakers, if they look at Austin Reeves like he's second coming to Michael Jordan. I like Reeves, but if you can get a clear upgrade, you do. Motivating the competition. Let's see. Murray, D'Lo, Braun, 80, Edie. Let's see. Rondo, I wouldn't mind Rondo at all. Who has a better modern skill set, NBA ready? Edie, Ware, or Holmes? If you're talking about modern skill set, Ware and Holmes. Edie is closer to like a traditional big man than he is anything else. He's shown in the combine that he looks like he can step out and shoot the 3 ball, but there's a big difference between being able to, take a set shot 3 in, an open gym as opposed to actually in a real in-game situation. That doesn't mean he can't develop that. That doesn't mean he can't get there. I'm not saying he can't grow a 3-point shot, but Edie is big, slow-footed, back to the basket type guy, right? I think if you're talking about like the guy that's most ready to help right now that I think would have the biggest impact out the gate is Edie. So like if the Lakers are looking for who can have the biggest like impact in the next like 2-3 years, I think Edie is the answer. If you're looking for somebody that can make an impact now, but also be like your cornerstone or one of your cornerstones for the future, then I think it's Holmes and then Ware, right? Holmes and Ware are the most NBA ready or like modern NBA ready type guys. Edie is closer to like Ivaka Zubac than he is to, whoever, right? Giannis, right? Like, let's see. Imagine Edie, and giving D'Lo and Braun advanced staggered screens. Be a lot of fighting through, that's for sure. Should we sign DeRozan? I wouldn't mind it at all. I wish JJ the best, but really hiring him is like asking your car mechanic to do open heart surgery as long as he's got some doctor buddies around him to supervise. Oh, so like I saw your comment earlier, buddy. But look, like I said there, I don't really like that analogy because like a car mechanic doesn't have any experience in being a doctor, period. Like JJ Redick at least was in the field, right? So to me, it's more like a doctor coming out of med school and his first patient is like a heart transplant, right? It's like, can he do it? Like, yeah, he has the knowledge and experience in the sense of like the field, but he's never actually been a doctor and done surgery. Like this is his first surgery, right? So it's like there's that, right? Comparing it to like a car mechanic, right? You're talking about somebody that's like never, like doesn't know what human body or anything like that. At least JJ has had, I mean, he played in the NBA, right? He has an understanding of the game. He's been coached by great coaches, right? Like there's a lot that goes into that, right? So I don't think it's necessarily, I don't think that that's a good comparison, personally. Let's see. Well, I answered your question, buddy. But yeah, people in blue, I go through everyone. Obviously, super chats take priority, because people are paying to do that and supporting the channel, which I appreciate. Also, look, hitting that like button, subscribing to the channel is just good. I appreciate it. Thank you. But yeah, as far as like just the blue highlight ones, that's just me going through that. But like if something like, this pops up, right? Like that, like the color coordinator, that's a super chat. I got to take priority. So some people want their answer or their question answered immediately. Some people only do super chats. Some people only answer super chats. I like to go through everybody. Obviously, I appreciate it. I'm trying to do this for a living, so every dollar is very helpful. But to me, this is more about engagement. This is more about just having the conversations, right? To me, this is, you guys watch my videos. I get AdSense from that. That really helps me. Whatever super chats I get from doing this, and very thankful, very appreciative, helps me a lot. But at the end of the day, it's like I want to build a community here, right? I want to grow the channel. I want to have people engaged and have conversations. I enjoy it. Like I genuinely enjoy having these conversations, having these ins and outs with everybody. So to me, it's not so much about super chats. Obviously, there's probably going to be a point in time where I get so big, I have no choice but to only answer super chats. And I'll have to try to maybe be creative and figure out ways. But for right now, I'm not that big to where like all I'm getting is flooded super chats. Like somebody like Laker Nation, they get so many super chats. They don't really have like they have to spend the whole chat answering super chats, right? Because they're just getting flooded with them. Somebody like me, I'm lucky to get a handful of stream, which again, I don't care either way. I'm very appreciative. I don't ever want anyone to feel like you have to. I can't always get through the entire stream, but I try to get through as many people as I possibly can. But again, I appreciate you, Robert. I wish I could say I could be your editor, but I got no clue how to do that. It's okay. I don't really either. It's all trial and error for me too. So it's fine. You got to just go through a learning experience. It's just more so I can kind of build and grow other things. I have a lot of things that I want to like work on and grow and establish. Like I said, I want to do this for a living, right? The plan is to eventually like this be the main thing, the one and only thing. And so, I'm willing to kind of spend out of pocket to try to grow this, right? To try to grow everything. But what would we offer for Trae though? I guess force his way to LA. He doesn't necessarily have to force his way to LA. I don't think he's going to have a big market. Like genuinely, I don't think he's going to have to force his way to LA. I mean, obviously that would help, but I mean, it also depends on what the market looks like. If the Lakers are basically the only team that are willing to trade for Trae, then you're in a position of leverage, right? Like again, they don't have to trade Trae, but I'm sure that they will. You're still going to have to give up value. It's not going to be like, oh, we can just match salaries and that's it. You're still going to have to give up, picks and stuff. But, instead of having to give up 3 firsts and 2 pick swaps, maybe you only have to give up, 2 firsts and 1 pick swap or something, right? Like, or maybe you could keep guys, right? Maybe you could, you don't have to give up Reeves or whatever, right? Like, so I don't know. We'll see how it goes. It just depends on, it's kind of a little too early to give you like a direct answer because we don't know what the market's going to look like, but it would help if he just basically said, I only want to go to Lakers. So, but salute, appreciate you. Thank you for being here. I miss Zubac, the trade from Muscala. Yeah, that was, That was not one of our finest moments, that's for sure. Bless you, dog. It's crazy because I'm playing franchise on 2K and my dog's like sneezing like crazy. It's crazy because I'm playing franchise on 2K and using OKC, and I traded for AC 2 weeks ago. My bad, Sheldon. So it was you. It's you. You're the reason. Shame. No, that's pretty funny. That's actually kind of ironic how that works, right? You made the move, and then now look. I appreciate it, Sheldon. What if last year we traded for Mike Conley instead of D'Lo? How good would we be? I think we'd be better. I don't know how much better. I don't think the problem is I don't think we'd be better in the regular season. We might be better in the playoffs, but you still have to like make the playoffs in order to be better in the playoffs. Honestly, I think at best it's probably just like a wash. Maybe the Lakers are a little better with Mike Conley in the playoffs, so maybe we lose to Denver in I don't know 6 instead of 5. But I don't know. I think ultimately it probably would have been the same because it wasn't just like oh well D'Lo was so trash that's the only reason we lost. Murray is I think people are I don't know if you remember how good DeJounte Murray was on the Spurs, but DeJounte Murray is that good. Talk about an all-star, all-defensive type guy that give you 22 and 8 and 9. Guy was nearly a walking triple-double. Like, I think people have recency bias because of him being on Atlanta and that roster and the fit. Giving up Reeves would be a mistake. I mean, it depends on what it's for. Depends on who you're trading Reeves for. Like, I like Reeves a lot. I mean, I don't think he had the best season this past season, but like, if you can get a clear upgrade, you trade Reeves, right? Like, I'm not just like if you're trading Reeves for like Tyus Jones or something like that, then yeah, that's silly. But depending on who you give up for Reeves, if you could trade, Reeves had to be a piece, and you could get Giannis or Jokic or something like that, would you not trade Reeves? Then Reeves isn't untradeable, right? Like, but again, I talking about like in general, right? If you can get a clear upgrade or a clear just long-term guy, then I think you do it. But I don't think you trade him just to trade him. I don't think you just, we're just going to oh yeah, sure. Here, you can just have Reeves. I don't think you do that. Feeling D'Lo opts in, but gets traded. And I think CP3 comes in on a vet minimum, try to bring in, like draft him. I think we use the 17th and Rui to go up in the draft. That's always a possibility. I mean, I think all that stuff is very, very possible. I mean, we'll know, the draft will be first before D'Lo opts in or not, because the draft is the 26th. It's next Wednesday, 26th, 27th, and then you have D'Lo has to make his decision by the 29th, I believe it is. Lakers need to get younger and more ball movement. That's what their plan is this offseason. Do they still have beef? I don't know if they've squashed it or not. Like, I'm not really like diving heavily into players' beefs, but they did at one point. But like I said, plenty of guys put their beefs aside. I mean, Draymond and CP3 hated each other. Like Draymond, he like even in a podcast was like, if I see CP3, it's on site, right? Like, and that all went away when you become teammates, right? Because then everything changes. Let's see. WNBA is getting chartered flights now because of Caitlin Clark. The league is still subsidized by the NBA. Yeah, the NBA is going to lose $50 million this year still, even with Caitlin Clark. It's crazy. I don't know if Laker fans are patient enough for a total rebuild. I don't think so either. I don't think you're wrong. Yeah, they're not trading AD and LeBron. That I'm very confident that that's not happening. Trae with Anthony Davis would be tough. Like that would be tough. Absolutely tough. I like Trae. I'm not against getting Trae. I have my concerns. I have my sort of reservations about it, but I do like if you can get Trae, I think you get Trae. And you kind of figure it out. Let's see. Sorry, trying to find something to me. Let's see. D'Lo opts in. We flip him and Rui into first, both with protections to Brooklyn for Cam Johnson and Cam Thomas. I mean, if Brooklyn would be willing to trade both, I wouldn't be against that. Like, if you could turn D'Lo and Rui into Thomas and Cam Johnson, I'd do that all day. What not win now? I think the Lakers absolutely should focus on winning now. Again, that's why I've been so adamant about getting a third guy. Yeah, Kyrie ain't going anywhere. Lopez would be really good, but he's 36 and really don't like that. I don't necessarily like that either, but my problem is his salary. If he wasn't like he is an expiring deal, so like if you wanted a salary dump, but I don't think the Lakers are in that position, right? Lakers are trying to win now. LeBron can only give you 30 minutes, and on one side of the court, he plays D in spurts, but he saves energy. Yeah, but I mean, it's fine as long as you have the right pieces around him, kind of mask. Should the Lakers pursue Marcus Smart? Houston wants him, but maybe Lakers should outbid them. I don't like. I like Marcus Smart, but for what it would probably cost to go get him for the Lakers, I would personally stay away from it. Personally, like again, I like Marcus Smart a lot. If you can get him reasonable, sure, I don't hate it, but he can be very frustrating, right? There's a reason the Celtics got rid of him and they immediately won a championship, right? Like his decision making at times is not the best. Nah, man, Rondo spit on CP3. I don't know about that. Again, I'd be surprised. Yeah, CP3 also didn't he catch one in the chin? But again, you'd be surprised. Guys put their stuff aside. It's a business. They understand that. Who's your top 2-3 realistic trade targets? I really think Trae Young is very realistic. I think he's probably very likely. I think Atlanta, period. I think DeJounte Murray or Trae Young are probably up there. Beyond that, the problem is we don't know everybody that's going to be available. So it's kind of hard to like gauge, like, okay, well, you give this guy, we give this guy, or this guy, or that guy. Like there's hope, right? Like, Cam Johnson's name's being thrown around. Like, I don't mind that. I was hoping Alex Caruso, but now he's gone. So it's like I think like players on Atlanta, players on Chicago, those are guys that you could definitely, I think, keep an eye on. I'm sure there's going to be another team that hits the reset button this offseason. I'm pretty sure that you'll end up seeing somebody that's like, oh, we're going to tear it down. So, but we'll see. Yeah, but this is the Lakers team of legends. Lakers should not rebuild. They should continue winning. If they were any other team, I'll be with it. But they're the Lakers' second championship all time. Yeah. It's always about winning. Lakers need to bring back Taurean Prince. I am all for keeping Taurean Prince. I like Taurean Prince a lot. Look, I said it before. I don't think Taurean Prince was a problem. I think people just had I just think Darvin Ham put a bad taste in everyone's mouth when it came to Taurean Prince. Sorry, I was just making sure it wasn't like important Laker news, but I just think Darvin Ham kind of spoiled Taurean Prince for everybody, rather than Taurean Prince coming in and being a big asset. But I think they should keep Taurean Prince. All right. I'm going to go probably about 5 more minutes, and then I'm going to skate on out of here. I was only going to go for an hour, but we've been talking for an hour and a half, and I appreciate you guys. You guys are awesome. So hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, power through as many questions as I can, and then I'm going to get out of here. Obviously, super chats take priority, so I'll answer those immediately, but I'm going to go like 5 more minutes because I got a lot of work. Got a lot of news coming out the last day, so got a lot of things that I got to start diving into. So I got a long night ahead of me. But we had to talk. So I really wanted AC too. I'm with you. That's why Lakers need D'Lo to opt in. You don't want him walking for nothing. Agreed. That would be bad. Do you still like the idea of DeJounte plus Dorian Finney-Smith if it takes all 3 picks? I like that. Yes, I would be all for that. I am with it. Let's see. If Mitchell's available, he's the first option. If not, I want LaVine and pick up DeRozan. Also, like if Mitchell is realistic, then he's definitely should be your first option. 100%. I agree. I still like LaVine. It's just again, it's a big risk that you're taking on. Right? If you could get an asset, like if you get the 11th pick for it, it's like, hey, we'll take LaVine, but we want the 11th pick. Then maybe, right? Because then, can you, like I said, can you get like Ron Holland? Ooh, get Zach Edey. Lakers ended up with Zach LaVine, Zach Edey, and Ron Holland this offseason. Like, even if they didn't do anything else, I'd be stoked. Like, I'd be like, let's go, right? But again, I think it just depends. Let's see. Edey is big. The Lakers need the most size possible to throw at West bigs like Joker, Cat, Lively, etc. Rui Hachimura locks up Karl Anthony Towns. If you don't believe me, go watch the tape. So not really worried about Cat. Derek Lively, again, I mean, he's not a big. He's just athletic. Again, he's just floor running big. So you got to keep an eye on him. The problem is, like, everyone wants a big guy for Jokic, but you're not going to stop. Like, does anyone think Zach Edey is really going to stop Jokic? Like, again, he's a big guy that's not going to get pushed around and banged, but he's probably fouling out in 10 minutes. Jokic is so, like, you're not stopping Jokic, right? You're just trying your best to make things difficult for him, but you're not stopping him. But again, I like Zach Edey. If you can get Zach, if the Lakers draft Zach Edey on the 26th, I'll be stoked. I'll be happy, right? I'm all for it. People just talk. Again, it's just trolling. That's why I didn't even get into it. People are silly. Turner is great. Turner is great. Buddy is a bench player at this point. Good for threes off the bench only, like the modern day Brian Shaw. Yes, but the Lakers at that time desperately needed shooting, and you were turning those two guys. You're turning Russell Westbrook into those two guys. And do the Lakers win the championship if they have Miles Turner and Buddy Hield? Because you would have had an actual shooter, and you would have had a center, which means you would have had to put Anthony Davis at the 4. So AD would have played the 4. You would have had Miles Turner at the 5 against that Denver matchup against Jokic. Just thought. I love Reeves. I hope he stays for sure. You think you will? I mean, look, the Lakers, it's going to take a lot for the Lakers to trade Reeves. I don't think Reeves is going to. I mean, his agent just left a big post about how excited that Austin Reeves basically got his guy. So I don't think he's going anywhere, if I'm being honest. But the Blazers, I don't believe, have ever traded with the Lakers. I think they will continue to be that way. I don't think they have either, if I'm being honest. Let's see. I'm disappointed you praised JJ without coaching a game yet. Look, I've said countless times that I don't know what JJ is going to be. So many people are so quick to just write him off as he's going to be trash. Just because he hasn't coached a game doesn't mean he's not going to translate and be successful. Again, Eric Spoelstra, Steve Kerr, Pat Riley, right? Like there's numerous guys throughout the history of this league that went directly from being, again, 3 of the top 5 players, or not players, coaches in this league are all guys that didn't have coaching experience, none, right? So again, just because hasn't been a head coach doesn't mean he doesn't. I praise him because he has the basketball IQ. I think he's going to be good. He has good relationships. He handles himself well, right? He can simplify things. I don't know. So many people are so quick to just assume JJ Redick is trash and is going to fail. Why would you root for the Lakers head coach to fail? If the Lakers head coach fails, guess what? The Lakers are going to fail, and that's not good for the Lakers. It's not good for us fans. I just don't believe in openly rooting against our teammates, our comrades, right? Because we're on the team. Again, I don't know. But a lot of people are so certain JJ Redick's going to be terrible. And if he's not, a lot of people are going to be looking very silly, right? Like, so again, I operate on let's wait and see. I have the patience to let things develop, right? The old Laker Domus thing, where did that come from? Because I'm patient and I can let things unfold and develop. I look at the situation, I see all of the details, I see all the information, and then I evaluate it accordingly. They're educated guesses. And my educated guess says that he is going to be good. Luke Walton had plenty of assistant coaching experience and was looked at as the next great basketball mind. Everybody and their mother was trying to get Luke Walton, and he turned down like 15 teams to go coach the Lakers. Was awful. Awful. Darvin Ham, again, praised as the next great head coach. He had like 15 interviews or whatever. I think he was 10. I think he had like 10 other interviews, literally turned down several other opportunities to go coach the Lakers. How did that work out? Experience doesn't translate to success. Experience doesn't always turn out to be the best. Most high-end companies won't even hire people with experience because they're set in their ways, right? JJ Redick has a lot of benefits in this regard. Will he be great? I don't know. I don't. You know why? Because we don't have any evidence. But guess what? We don't have any evidence he's going to be bad either. Right? Like I can make a better I'm confident that I can make a better compelling argument that he will be a good head coach than you can make a compelling argument that he won't be. Because I think we've seen him break down plays and sets. We've seen how he operates and handles himself. We've seen the basketball mind and IQ. Right? Everybody just hinges on he has no experience. Right? But there's things that you've done, Art, in your life that you didn't have experience in and had success. Right? Like just because he doesn't have experience, it's not like he was a plumber his whole life and then immediately jumped into being the head coach of the Lakers. No, he was an NBA player with a good IQ and a respectful career. Right? Again, I don't know, but so many people are so quick to just say, he's going to be trash. Like, how do you know that? Right? Like, and then what happens if he's not? Then everybody's like, oh, he's terrible. I think he'll be good. If he's not, then we'll talk about it. Right? Like, I just think you got to wait and see. Can Reeves become an all-star under the coaching of JJ Redick? Reeves' agent said he's keeping receipts on want a third star. Can he play to an all-star level? Yes. Will he actually be an all-star? I don't think so. The West is incredibly stacked with guards. Like Austin Reeves would get the Laker boost, right, as far as voting goes, but like Austin Reeves would have to be probably like a 30-5 guy if he was really going to make the all-star game. Again, is it possible? Sure. But I don't even care if he makes an all-star game. Can he just get back? Can he just be an all-star level guy? Look, if Austin Reeves shot 40 to 41% like he did the previous year, he would have been a 20-point-a-game guy. If he can just be a 20-point-a-game guy, I'm all for it. Right? As like our third or fourth option, like that's perfect. Right? So the problem with Austin Reeves last year was his inconsistency and his lack of efficiency. Right? He just kind of averaged. Like he'd have like 4 or 5 games where he was trash and was like 0 of 7 from 3. And then he'd have like, 2 games where he was like 3 of 5 from 3 or 3 of 4 from 3, right? So it just kind of was the law of averages this past year. But if you actually watch him, he wasn't very good. What do you use for your thumbnails? Canva. I have the paid whatever. It's like you pay and you can do fancy stuff. So I just do that. Because also it's convenient because I can do it on my computer and I can do it on my phone. And there's times where like, I'm at a kid's doctor's appointment or one of my kids' things, like events or whatever. And I'm like, I need to make a thumbnail. So it's convenient. Like, that's why I do it. Can we get LaVine? Can we? Yes, absolutely. Will we? I don't know so much anymore now that Caruso's gone, but I like Vanderbilt. I think we should keep 2. Bulls are shopping LaVine. I don't think the Lakers need a rush to go get LaVine. I don't think LaVine's going anywhere. I don't think they're going to be able to trade LaVine unless they give up a bunch of stuff. So I think he'll be there and the Lakers will be fine. Let's see. What is the best star you think we can get? Probably Trae, if I'm being honest. Like, I think Trae is realistic and probably the guy that gets it. Take on D'Angelo Russell, like in the sense of like, will he stay or will he go? I think it depends on his market. The way things are shaping up, I think he's going to opt in just because, again, like Clay looks like he's going to potentially be available. The Warriors made him a 2-year offer. He wants 3 years. And I think a team like Orlando is probably going to prefer Clay over D'Lo. I don't think D'Lo's market's going to be huge. And I mean, it depends on like the years that a team will give, right? So like if a team is like I could see him taking less money if he could get like a 3 or 4 year deal, right? Like if somebody's like, hey, we'll give you 4 years, 60 million, I think he leaves in a heartbeat. But like if teams are only like, hey, we'll give you 2 years, 15 million or something like that, then I think he probably just opts in and, you know, deals with whatever the Lakers deal. It's probably my guess. Andrew, Sexton and Laurie is probably the best possible trade. Problem is they want like Danny Ainge wants like an insane haul for Laurie, and the Lakers just don't have enough to get him. But if they could, I'd be all for it. People say Edie is slow-footed, etc. Dude had better lane agility and shuttle numbers than Homestar, better than 3-4 court sprint than Clegan, etc. Yes, but college and NBA, when you translate and teams actually like scheme for him, it becomes a very different thing, right? Like there have been a lot of guys that look spectacular in college. I mean, Frank Kaminsky dominated Karl Anthony Towns in an undefeated Kentucky team. And where's Frank Kaminsky now? Right? Like, again, there's a lot of guys look great in college. And then they get to the NBA and they're not very good. Right? Like, it's not so much like him on an island one-on-one. It's him being able to stay in front of these guards and operate and navigate through, screens and sets and people putting them in actions and switching on. Like, there's just a lot that goes into it. Caruso for Giddey, Lakers could have had it. Yeah, but who do the Lakers trade? Like, Giddey's, a borderline triple-double guy, all-star level guard. Right? And he's 21. Right? This signals to me that, like, they're probably going to rebuild. What do you think about Alex Caruso trade going to Oklahoma City and Josh Giddey to the Chicago? I think it's a real win-win for both sides. I mean, sucks, disappointed because I wanted Caruso on the Lakers. But I think, just looking at the deal, I think both sides got exactly what they wanted. There are no picks or anything involved. Although if I was Chicago, I would have tried to get something out of Thunder. But I think, Chicago's a team that's trying to kind of get younger, rebuild. Thunder are trying to win more now. I think it was a very good trade for both sides. Not sure any trade can make Lakers a contender and their probs cooked. I don't know. I mean, you'd be surprised. Do you think the Lakers are going to tie championships with the Boston 18? Do I think they'll tie at 18? I mean, it's possible. It's kind of too early to tell because if the Lakers basically just stand pat, no. I think the Lakers are probably cooked this year. But if you get the right pieces or something like that, yeah, absolutely. Celtics very well could repeat. Very well could repeat. Will Jonas Valanciunas be a realistic option for the Lakers to sign, or will he be too expensive? I actually think he'll be a very real option. He wasn't making that much money before. He's going to be a year older, and he is a guy that gets played off the court because he's not very quick and kind of more of a back to the basket. He can step out a little bit, knock down shots, but that's not like really his skill set. I think I think he's a solid quality backup. I don't think he makes more than like $5 to maybe $8 million a year. So Lakers should be fine. Please get back Coach Phil. You talk about Phil Jackson? Are there any Laker channels that you watch a lot? No. Like on occasion, I like to see like what other Laker channels are doing. So like there's times where I'll just like kind of browse various Laker channels and just kind of see like, kind of get a gauge for like, where's my content compared to theirs? Like, are they having success right now? Or if like my numbers are a little down, are their numbers down? Or is it just me? Like, if so, am I doing something wrong? Like, just, you like to kind of scope the competition at times. I probably watched, like, out of all of them, like, probably Lakers Nation is the one that I watched the most. Like, some of the other, like, most of the other Laker channels, I've only watched, like, maybe a handful of videos from them. And it's nothing against them. It's just, I just don't have a lot of time to sit and watch videos and kind of watch Lakers channel stuff. And most of the time, the stuff that they're talking about is stuff that I'm talking about. So, like, I'm not really learning anything. So, like, there's not really a reason for me to watch these channels, right? Because, again, all the information that they're touching on, I'm touching on or making a video about. So there's not really an incentive for me to watch these channels. So usually the only time I actually watch the channels is if I just kind of want to gauge or kind of see something, or, maybe I made a video and their video did better. So I'm like, I obviously got to put it in scale, but I'll be like, okay, well, like, why does theirs, is it time? Is it just like theirs is better? Is the information that maybe I missed, right? It's just kind of doing my due diligence as somebody that wants to grow and develop, kind of, scouting and doing my job, right? I guess. But the reason, like I said, the reason I watch Lakers Nation more than anybody is just because they're the biggest, right? Lakers Nation is the standard, right? Like, to me, I look at Lakers Nation and go, okay, that's a plateau that I can reach, right? Like, all the other channels, I'm pretty much in that vicinity, right? And I've grown so fast, and some of them I'll catch and stuff rather quickly. And so to me, it's like, okay, well, like, what is Laker Nation doing and how can I improve to be better, right? I'm not saying I want to be Laker Nation, but I'm saying, like, are there, you just want to check the competition, right? You just want to see, are they doing anything in particular that's working well? And what is that, right? Like, just like anything else, just like, a basketball team scouting the opposing team, right? I want to see, like, okay, what are they doing that's good? How is their audience engaging, right? Like, it's just all the little, like, details, all the little nuances. But it's not like an everyday, it's like random. Like, I'm like, oh, I got 20 minutes. Let me watch like 2 of Laker Nation videos, right? It's not like a regular everyday thing. Can we even trust Rob in a rebuild? I think we could. Just depends on it's because it wouldn't be so much Rob. It'd be more so like the development team, right? Because, like, you get a bunch of young talent picks and stuff like that. Like, you're gonna get a return, but it's like, can you develop them properly? Something about him I can't stand. Hey, look, how do you win people over? You win. You have success. He wins and has success. LeBronto, what's going on as it stands? Been a while, but if we truly get a good roster, if we have good staff, we will win. I'm with you. Reeves continues to make me love him more and more with how he's not a fan of Boston either. Yeah. Look, I like Reeves. I just don't think he's untouchable, right? So a lot of people think, like, I like, dude, I hyped Austin Reeves up like he was the second coming of Michael Jordan. I was disappointed in the season, and I think that he deserved a lot of criticism last year, but I like Austin Reeves. I don't think you just trade Austin Reeves, but if you can get Austin Reeves, if you can get a clear upgrade, I think you do that. But all right, I'm going to pull up one more section. I'm going to do one more sheet, and then I'm going to get on out of here. We need to keep Torian Prince. He wasn't the issue. How he was used was the issue. I am right there with you, Mr. T. I feel like hair in my mouth. KCP will cost too much. I think he might go Philly, 25 million Philly. Yeah, Rondo did 2-piece. CP3. No LaVine without Caruso. I prefer that. Let's see. What about Cam? I wouldn't mind keeping Cam Reddish. I don't want him to be as big of a rotation piece as he was this past season, but I do still think he has a lot of upside and potential. But obviously, it just depends on utilization. Do you all see Boston's rosters? Lakers are not contending. Boston's stacked, but look, a lot of things can happen. Right? There's a lot of things, and Boston. Like, yeah, they ran through everybody, but like they didn't look like this. They don't look like the 2017 Warriors or anything like that. Let's see. Do you think we can get KCP still? I mean, it's possible. I don't think it's likely, right? I just think it depends on what his market is and stuff. He'll probably re-sign with Denver, but to me, it all boils down with what's the market for him. If he's getting like 15 million everywhere, then like I could see him going like, for 2 million less, I go back to the Lakers. I have familiarity, right? I can see something like that. But if he's getting like 18 to 20 million dollar offers, then no, I don't think the Lakers get him personally. Denver would have beaten Boston. I think Denver actually would have beaten Boston too. I think that was the one team that could have beaten them. I didn't like Darvin Ham, and even I didn't root against him. It's so sad to just assume he will be bad. Yeah, that's my point. Right? Again, maybe he will. Maybe he turns out to be trash, right? Maybe JJ Redick was the worst decision we've made. Maybe he's worse than Darvin Ham. I don't know. And that's my thing. I don't know. But I'm not going to just root against the new head coach and just assume that he's going to be terrible. Let's see. Plumber. I'm just glad we get to see our coach and LeBron on the same page. Help a lot. Yes, I do think that will go a long way. That you'll have guys like you'll have, basically your players and your coach working together rather than against each other. What else? His driving was fine. His 3-ball was lacking, though. Also noticed Reeves stop taking as many mid-range as he used to. Yeah. Again, I don't know if it was like there was talks that maybe he was just tired because of all the basketball, but I don't know what it was, but he wasn't the same guy. And he was a bit disappointing. But again, you can always turn around, right? You have bad year. Players have bad years. Do you think they should try and go depth route and try to trade for Cam Johnson, Wendell Carter Jr., and then sign like Chris Paul and Dinwiddie? I don't hate it. I am in the camp of getting the talent, right? You look at all the teams that advanced and played well this year, they weren't deep, right? And you also saw every round, the role players for one team just failed to show up. Lakers, role players didn't show up, Denver wins. Denver, role players didn't show up. Where was Michael Porter Jr.? I mean, Mike Malone had to come out and defend Michael Porter Jr. because he was so bad, right? Role players don't show up, Denver gets eliminated, right? Role players were fantastic for Minnesota, killing Denver. They disappeared, Dallas wins. Dallas, role players again, killing Minnesota, looking great. Go to play Boston, completely disappear, right? The team with the most talent won. And that's usually how it goes. Team with the most talent usually win, right? Obviously, that talent has to fit. Obviously, that talent has to make sense. So to me, if you can get a good front-end talent, I think you do that. But again, it also depends on what's out there, what's available, and what it is. But what would be Wemby's stat line next season? It was what, like 20. I think he'll probably be at least a 25-point a game guy next year. I think he'll be like, I don't know, 25, 10, and 5, something like that, with like 4 blocks and 2 steals, something crazy like that. But all right, let's do last few questions. Does Giddy block Kobe White? I don't watch pools. Is Kobe high usage? No, Kobe actually showed at times his ability to like play off ball and be on ball and kind of mix match. I think they'll make it work. Kobe White, he was a willing passer at times. He can get tunnel vision, and there's definitely things he needs to work on, but he I think that they'll be able to make the balance work. But anyway, I'm going to end it there. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me. Seriously, you guys are awesome. Thank you all so much. Also, real quick, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. I'm going to try to stream Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I don't know if I'm going to start this Monday or next Monday, so stay tuned. I'll let you know. Like I said, I got some personal life stuff going on right now. Just got a lot of chaos that I need to try to get through, and then I'll be able to kind of set a regular schedule. And then once we get to the regular season, then we'll do the watch along streams and post game stream and all that stuff. But for right now, either this week or this coming week or next week, I'll be doing post game streams. I'll probably do a live stream also on draft night, but not during the draft, after the draft. So we can kind of break down, kind of go over everything, have conversation, stuff like that. So look forward to that. Again, hit that like button for me, please. Helps me out a ton. Subscribe to the channel. Means a ton. Trying to grow. I'm already at 21,000. Get 25. That'd be wonderful. But everyone that gave me super chats, again, thank you so much. Seriously, it helps a ton. I'm very thankful for that. And I will see you guys all in the next one. Thank you.